Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies. We're coming to you with a Delilah's. What is that?
Compass Box, Delilah's 25th anniversary.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to test it! Chicago punk rock bar style.
Let's test it.
Boom. All right, we're in. Let's pour it. Who is our Scotch God? Shout out while I'm pouring it. By the way, I love the heavy wax they always do.
Well, not always, but the special editions or the special runs that they
do.
Good
point. Not always. Special runs have a heavy wax seal. This one's purple.
Moe's Chun.
Ooh, Moe's Chun.
I don't need that much.
Dang it. Did I pour too much?
Moe's Chun says, and this was on, whoa, I didn't even realize, Compass Box the General.
Oh, yeah.
Old one.
Yes.
Moe says, I have finally realized something, and that is both of you are the two sides of one coin. Your entertaining banter has taught me a lot about whiskey, almost as much as Ralphie. Scott is the sniper, and Bart is the one with the minigun with the 500-round belt.
You nailed us.
But you guys both bring it and make it fun at the same time.
Ooh.
Cheers and many happy drams in your glass.
That's one of the best comments I've ever had.
That's a pretty good analogy.
I think that's perfect. I love that.
Yep.
Well done.
I'm the sniper, you're the minigun.
True. I'd say 1,000 rounds. Yeah, I just keep going. And then finally it's running out and it's just going, but it's empty. And then the one bad guy steps out and you're like,
yeah. And then I'm like, next time you have a chance to kill someone, hesitate.
Yeah, you call me the logger. You just cutting wood? Is that all you're doing?
So, go back, and that comment, I didn't even realize that comment goes back to the General. Well, he just made the comment.
Right.
Goes back to the Compass Box of General, which was in our first
50.
It was the first 100 for sure.
You surprised me with that. But we were supposed to be doing a different bottle, and then you were like, you know what? We're not reviewing that. We're reviewing this.
But we were from the beginning. We had done, and we did kind of the core range of Compass Box. We did Asila, we did Oak Cross, we did Peat Monster, Spice Tree.
Right.
Which one am I forgetting? Oh, Hedonism.
Well, okay, and we even did their Glasgow standard. I'm blanking on the name of it.
Well, we haven't done
the
Great King Street Glasgow.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, Great King Street.
Great King Street. Yes. By the way, I have 458 coin. 458.
459.
Right.
But a little later, probably still within our first 100, we do Compass Box Delilah's.
Right.
It came from, I mean, it's in partnership with Delilah's Bar in Chicago.
Sure.
They did a special run.
Punk rock whiskey bar.
And if I remember right, it even said, enjoy this with a beer.
Wow.
It was like a whiskey for a beer.
Huh.
And that's what we did in our review. We did a stout with it.
Once again, your memory astounds me.
Yeah. So anyway, up to this edition for the 25th anniversary of Delilah's, again, they partner with Compass Box, John Glazer. Yep. Sherry.
Right up your alley.
And I want to say 9,000 bottles. I should have looked. I should have confirmed that.
Well, while you're looking,
8,500.
Ooh, close.
8,520.
Well, you definitely get the sherry notes with a large amount of oak.
46%. For those that don't know, Compass Box does blends. Mm-hmm. So this is not a single malt. Now, does it say
they're masters?
This is a blended Scotch whiskey?
Beautiful.
So with that, it should be a blend of grains and malts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do not turn your nose up to a blend. There's mastery. There's craftsmanship in a blend.
Lightly roasted almonds.
See, I get a wood oak, and the sherry.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very nice nose. Now, I'll tell you, when I first cracked this bottle, could have been my palate, was not impressed. I thought, oh, worst Compass Box I've had. And I keep waiting.
Really?
Well, the first time I had it, first crack, I told you. It changed, or I changed. It could have been my palate that night.
46% ABV.
Not so. I have 3 bottles of this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get the powdered sugar cotton candy flavor on the finish. I'm going to have to go back to the forefront. Finish lingers with a light sweetness, like a candied sweet tart almost. Yeah, it's just kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice powdered sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but waxiness, rich, light sherry notes, light nuttiness.
In the middle or on the finish? You must be
Middle,
talking finish.
mid palate, mid palate
Yeah,
to finish.
I get a nuttiness in the middle.
Yeah. Not a sherry bomb. Don't expect great big sherry notes to punch you, but just hints. More like a double casking of something that's been a lot of time in a bourbon cask, short time in a sherry cask. Powdered sugar, big time, all over the finish.
Yeah, the finish is where this one's at for me. It's that powdered sugar, those little Smartie sweet tarts crushed, layered in. All right, now you went and picked up more bottles at first not enjoying this. To me, this is a much more subtler whiskey. And I don't know than I want to say I expected, but it seems a little bit more subdued, I guess, than I thought it would be. What hit you wrong that since changed?
Well, no, it was okay. So right off the bat, I ordered 2 bottles. When they got here, I opened one, and like I say, it was probably my palate that night. It just it didn't. It wasn't there.
You had tacos.
I was like,
taco
something.
night.
I don't know. and I remember thinking that I was like, okay, a release from Compass Box has let me down.
Mm-hmm.
But a few nights later, well, that's the first night. It's my palate. It's
Sure.
I'm not committed. Wait.
I'm nervous. God forbid. I've probably let you down multiple times.
Several nights later, I go back and I'm like, okay, this is different than it was the first night. It's much better. The sherry is there. That sugar is there. The sweetness, very good. It's led me to go out and buy another bottle.
Gotcha.
So I'm just saying the first, and how many times have you done that though? You've tried a whiskey, and the first time it's not there.
Yeah, I was going to say, the longer we've done this, the more I've learned, or it's taught me. Sometimes right after we open them, they need to open, or we try it, and I'm like, okay, but then a month later I try it, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember thinking this was so. What the heck? And so we've learned that, and here's an interesting thing. When we first started the show, the whole thing, of course, we were novices. Really, we still are. But the whole thing was we popped we opened it up. We hadn't pre-tried it. We hadn't had any notes. We hadn't spent any time with it. It was pop it open and have it. And we actually had fans that said, hey, you might want to let that open up a little bit and even come back and try it again later. And we've even since gone back to some bottles that we had years ago, retried them, and find differences. The open was one in particular. Yeah.
For me especially.
Me too.
Yeah.
When we went back to it, you were like, what do you remember? And I was like, wow.
Not very often does that happen. The first sample, when I first cracked it, when I first tried it. Like I say, it's probably my palate that night. Something I'd ate, something was off. It didn't appeal to me when I go back to it. And since, and I've had it several times, it's outstanding. I love it. And I'm definitely getting those sherry notes. The dark fruits are coming through. I definitely am getting the plums, the raisins. They're there slightly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm not puzzling them out. I know you're more the sherry guy than me, but I was going to say I'm having a hard time finding them.
And a waft of smoke. Waft.
A waft, thank you. Because again, I'm like, once again, I'm not finding a wafting.
Oh, no.
I have no wafting. It might be my chain gun.
Let's see if I can pull it up. Now, you can go to compassbox.com.
And they share
well,
all kinds
it's Compass Box Whiskey.
Right. And then if you email them, they'll even tell you more information.
Yeah, you can kind of get the makeup of the whiskey from the website. If you email them, they'll actually give you the ages of each individual whiskey.
Yeah, you got to ask.
Yep.
That's what keeps them good.
Let's see if I can. I think there's a little bit of smoke in here. If we can pull up the sheet, recipe details, and see, there's only 4 different 6 different distilleries.
Wow. This is something again that makes Compass Box head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah.
Their disclosure, their full transparency. Okay.
So, first parcel is from a refill hogshead, 29% of it.
Okay.
That's all it says. Delilah's 20th anniversary parcel. There's a grain whiskey from Cameron Bridge Distillery.
Okay.
Malt whiskey from Milton Duff Distillery. Malt whiskey from Tianinnik. I've seen it. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tianinnik. There's a malt whiskey made near the town of Abelauer.
Wow.
And a malt whiskey from Linkwood. So I kind of thought we might see just a small percentage of an Isla distillery in there.
You know what? I'm getting a little creaminess on this now, too, that I didn't get at first. Like a little buttered cream.
Yeah, I haven't even added water
So
yet. Let's add a drop of water.
Okay. I've worn mine down pretty low.
Did you add water?
I have not. If I can get just a tiny, I'll come in for a tiny drop. Nice. I like the cling. The cling.
Sploop.
So.
Again, I think another great addition from Compass Box.
The nose here reminds me of back in my high school days when they had those little fruit roll-ups. You know, it was kind of on a cellophane, and it was like a plattered fruit. And that's where I get that smell of I'm sure it's the sherry, but I get that raisin, that plum now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's definitely what I remember getting.
And there's almost, there's still like a lighter citrus as well. You're getting those darker sherry notes, but then there's also kind of like pears, apples.
All right. Score, and then I'm curious on how much, on what it costs.
I don't have my iPad here. I will go 90.
Okay. 88 for me. And it may be something where I need to warm up to it. I am definitely getting even more as we sit here. It's definitely, 88 is a good score. It's flavorful. I was going to say rich, but I wouldn't quite describe it as rich. It's fruity. It's a very good dram. So, is it worth it? How much?
$90. Yes. I went out and bought a third one.
Sure. That'd probably be upper end for me. And you don't know the years of some of the whiskeys that are in here yet?
No.
Okay. All right. That's it. That's fine. We don't need to know. That's probably a little much for me.
Now I could email them. You can email them and say,
yep.
What is
and they'll
Compass Box Delilah?
Yep, and they'll tell you. They'll tell you how old everything is in here. But there's a lot of, just as you would expect from a Compass Box, there's a lot of craftsmanship in here. You can tell. Now, I've got to tell you, this is the second Delilah's release. They've got this cool little thing on here. And do you want to bring down what the original one was? Yeah, the original one just had the one girl's face. Now it's got the face times 2. Boom.
The face times 2.
The face times 2. And here's all I'm saying. Someday, black and yellow, the Dummies edition.
I like it.
Yeah. It'd be a sherry-based peat. Or it would be, I don't know. It'd be something peat and sherry. It'd have to be. Traveling Dummies. Let's segue in. What do we got?
Second photo from Scott Slattery. We saw the Eiffel Tower at nighttime. Now we are seeing coin 415 at
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Now, 414 is in the forefront.
Notre Dame, if you're from Kansas.
Notre Dame. All right. It's a very cool looking picture, although the focus is on the coin, which is fine.
Yeah. The tower is big enough. It's large enough behind the coin. You can see what
and
it is.
There's a crowd. There's a crowd at the base.
Yep. Everybody's out looking
for the hunchman.
Tourist season.
They're looking for the hunchback of Notre Dame.
The hunchman.
I'm sorry, the huntman. No, the hunchback of Notre Dame. Did I say the hunchman? That's a whole new series.
Have
the hunchman.
A couple of new Patreon. We got caught up.
We did.
On Patreon shout-outs.
Yes.
And then what happened?
We quickly picked up more people.
We did.
We did. 3, in fact. Let's get them all in.
We can do...
I think we can get all 3, can't we?
Let's do 2, and then we'll do 1, because we're shooting 1 right after this one.
Good point. Good point. So a $1 supporter, Marty
Neary.
Thank
Marty
you,
Neary. He's been following us for a while. I know we've seen him commenting here and there, and he's been around for a while.
Good to have you on board, Marty.
Yeah, $1 Patreon supporter. Thank you. For you guys that don't know, Patreon is really our bread and butter. It's what allows us to
very much so. You can go to patreon.com, just look up Scotch Test Dummies. Now, the second one is Juan. We're going to be yelling Juan's name because he's a $2 supporter.
Uh-huh.
Rasser needs to cover his ears.
Can you pronounce his last name?
Wow, that's a good point. It's Quintanilla.
Quintanilla? Quintanilla? Quintanilla. Quintanilla.
I hope.
Juan Quintanilla.
Quintanilla. My wife, the Puerto Rican, will rip me if I'm way off, and I feel like I'm probably slightly off.
Juan, $2 Patreon supporter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you. Sorry if we butchered your last name. My wife will correct me. Trust me.
I say it's Juan Quintanilla.
I think you're right. Quintanilla.
Quinn or
yes.
Quinn?
It's probably Quinn.
Quintanilla.
Quintanilla. Well, we've said your name 18 times.
Go to ScotchTestDummies.com and check out our October event. It's coming under the events tab, October 19th and 20th, our 5th anniversary.
So it's October 19th, it's a Friday. It's a dinner at a place called the Scotch and Sirloin. Mm-hmm. Great name for a restaurant. We're doing a organized tasting. We haven't finalized the bottles. Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, Ben Dietrich. That's going to be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to that. That's followed by it's a little bit more of a regular, it can be up to 100 people, depending on how many we get. We're having a KC strip and a full meal of that. What is the Saturday?
Saturday's more of a casual hangout. Yes. And of course, a little bit of Friday, a little bit of Saturday will be a free hangout. There's a hotel here in town we're staying at.
The Drury Inn is where you're going to be, everybody's booking.
Yeah, well, so we'll be down there hanging
discounted rooms.
At 5 o'clock, I believe, on Saturday, it becomes a ticketed event at a local. It's a couple blocks away. It's walking distance.
All things barbecue.
It'll be dinner, more informal dinner.
Yeah.
Hopefully we should have some whiskey booze set up from a local distributor.
Yep. Live music.
Cousin
Shane,
Shakes Pennington
we,
will be there.
Best part yet, are going to do a live on-site show. Mm-hmm. That could be a little crazy. That could be wild. We might be dragging people on stage. Boom. I don't know if it'll even be a stage. It'd just be a seating area.
That's right. But go to ScotchTestDummies.com, and under the events tab, you'll be able to find more information on that. So,
please join us.
Help support us as well on Patreon or by purchasing merchandise from the website, ScotchTestDummies.com. So
if you can't make it, you can join us virtually. So Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro.
Dummies.